Hi guys, in our today's lesson we'll continue learning about IELTS writing section. Today we'll focus on learning about academic writing task 2. Academic writing task 2 is very different compared to our previous graphics and diagrams, and it has very different requirements. In our following slides we'll be learning about different strategies, tips, and how to approach this type of essay. In this slide you can see a brief overview to the writing task 2. As you can tell, writing task 2 is quite different compared to our graphics and diagrams, and you'll be given more time to complete this type of essay. You would have to write exactly 250 words, and it can be more, but again, it cannot be less than this number. You'll be given 40 minutes, and in order for you to successfully complete this type of essay, I suggest you to follow the following steps. Step 1, it's planning your essay, and for which you should spend about 10 minutes. Step 2, it's writing your essay. You should at least leave 25 minutes for this process. And the last step, it's step 3, revising your essay. And for that, you should spend at least 5 minutes. And just like before, you would have to go back, read again, and revise. But we'll discuss these steps in our following slides. Before we'll begin learning about our writing task 2, here's some important tips that you should keep in mind. First of all, try to read the task carefully and make sure you understand what it's asking for. Secondly, if you do not understand the task, please do not panic. It happens to many people, so read it again carefully 2 or 3 times, and if you still do not understand some words, try to cross them out and focus on the words you know. It can help you a lot too. A lot of times we do not understand what we're reading because we can be feeling very nervous and anxious, especially during the time when you're taking your test. And finally, remember that well-written essay has a good plan, so allow yourself some time to make planning notes. They can help you tremendously when you will be writing your essay. If you would like to achieve a high score on your IELTS exam, you should try to remember the following points. First of all, you need to remember to address all parts of the task. Secondly, it's using correct grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Thirdly, you should try to write incomplete sentences. Complete sentences always contain one subject and verb, at least one subject and verb. And next, it's a very important point for you, in order not to get a lower score or lose your points, make sure that you use your own words and you do not copy exact sentences from your prompt or from your task, in other words. And the most important one too, when it comes to this task, it's explaining your own opinion. As you can see, this task is very different, and I'll be explaining to you how to approach it in the following slides. But when you complete this type of task, when you write this type of essay, you need to explain your own opinion and be able to provide different examples that support your own opinion. It's not as graphics and diagrams where we did not include any opinion or outside information, so just remember that and make sure you are able to show your point of view. In the IELTS writing task 2, you'll be asked to show your opinion and be able to defend your point of view. The question in the IELTS writing task 2 can be stated in 5 different ways, or in other words, we can call it 5 different essays that you'll be asked to complete. You may be asked to, number 1, agree or disagree, and number 2, describe advantages and disadvantages about a particular topic. 3, discuss 2 points of view and give your own opinion and which one you support. The first one is a suggesting solution to problems. Sometimes you can describe 2 problems, and then in body paragraph 3, for example, give solutions for these 2 problems. And the last one, that is not very common, but sometimes it might be on your test. It's number 5, answering 2 questions. Alright guys, in this slide we'll review writing task 2 essay prompts. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes IELTS essay ask you in 5 different ways to describe or discuss a particular topic. So number 1, as you take a look, I'm going to read this prompt for you. So it states the following: Nowadays, many people have access to computers on a wide basis, and a large number of children play computer games. So this is your topic, or in other words, it's your prompt. And what are you given to do? It is the following question. What are the negative impacts of playing computer games, and what can be done to minimize the bad effects? So as you can see, it's talking about negative impacts of playing computer games and what can be done to minimize. So this type of essay, we call it problem and solution essay. So when you see this type of prompt and you know that you would have to describe problems or negative effects and how these problems can be solved. Alright, so let's move on to the second one. So here we have some people believe that it is cruel to test drugs and other new products on animals. Others believe that this sort of testing is important and necessary for improving and even saving people's lives. And your task is discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So as you see, it clearly states that you have to discuss both these views. So the first view is that some people believe that it's cruel to test drugs and other new products on animals. And the second view is going to be the other opinion. Others believe that this sort of testing is important and necessary for improving and even saving people's lives. So as you can see, you have to discuss these both views in your essay, and then give your own opinion. So your own opinion can be either you support the first view or second view, and you would have to explain why you would support the first one or the second one and give your own example. So these are our first two essay prompts for the writing task 2. Here's our third prompt, and I'm going to read for you. Traditionally, elderly people have lived with and been cared for younger family members. In modern society, more and more elderly people are living in special homes for the elderly. And we have requirements here. So we have two questions, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. Why do you think families choose to have their elderly relatives live in special homes away from the family? Question number 1. And the second one, what do you think is the best way for modern families to care for their elderly relatives? And as you can see in this prompt, you have your topic. So this is a topic when the one in bold, traditionally elderly people. So they explain the problem you have, and then they're asking you to answer these specific two questions in your essay. So that means when you'll be writing your essay, your body paragraphs have to stay focused on these two questions. For example, your body paragraph 1 and 2 can be 2 reasons. Why do you think families choose to have their elderly relatives live in special homes away from the family? So you would have to write body paragraph 1 explaining one reason for this problem, and body paragraph 2 can be a second reason explaining the same problem basically, and your body paragraph 3 could be the answer for your second question. For example, here you have, what do you think is the best way for modern families to care for their elderly relatives? So be very careful when you are completing this kind of essay. A lot of times students get confused. They read the prompt and then they ignore these two questions they have, and they just focus on the words in bold. They are of course important. It's just kind of describing the problem and giving you more ideas about the topic, but what you have to do is to answer and write about what they are asking you for. So, and they are asking you to describe these two problems, or like answer these two questions in your body paragraphs or in your essay in general. Alright guys, and then fourth type of essay we have, here we have a prompt. Developing an area for tourism changes life in that area in many ways. And again, so we have a topic, we have a prompt, but what they're asking is quite different. So read it carefully. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages that tourism can bring to the lives of people who live in that area? So in the area. So in this case, do you see, you have a topic. Topic explains that when developing an area for tourism changes life of people, right? But what they're asking you is to discuss 2 points, right? Advantages and disadvantages. So your body paragraphs have to be about advantages and disadvantages of tourism and how it impacts on people's life. So yeah, this is our fourth and third type of prompts, and we are going to go ahead and discuss the last one, number 5. In this slide, you can see our final type of essay, number 5. It's about agree or disagree. The prompt states the following: making smoking illegal is the best way to protect from the harmful effects of tobacco. And your task: to what extent do you agree or disagree? So when you have this type of essay, you need to pick one point and then provide a reason for each point. I mean, which point you are choosing. For example, if you said I agree, then you would have to pick 2 or 3 reasons why you agree and then provide an example. And if you pick, for example, if you decided to say I disagree, then you'd have to do the same. You'd have to write 2 or 3 reasons why you disagree and provide an example to support your opinion. I think this is one of the most common essays, and a lot of my students and I myself had the same type of essay. And in order for you to sound more confident, I would just suggest you to pick one point, agree or disagree. Try not to mix it. You can definitely provide a counter argument if you'd like to. So a lot of times counter arguments sound, even though some people agree, I still strongly believe that. So this is a kind of a counter argument we have. If you are able to do it, great, you can go ahead and try to do that. But then again, you're not required to do it. So your job when you're writing your writing task 2 is to show that you have your opinion, you can defend your opinion, and you can support it with different examples. Just remember that it doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be personal. For example, maybe in real life you actually don't disagree, but you have so much more to write about agree, so I would suggest you to write about agree. Okay? Alright, so anyway, so these are our 5 types of essays for the writing task 2, and in our following slides we'll be learning how to make a plan and how to approach every single paragraph, such as introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion, and learn different important tips. And that's all.